Gary Vaynerchuk is back, hot on the heels of his last book, crushing it. The Thank You Economy is his latest book. What's going on, Gary?
You know, I'm just happy to be back in the studio. Well, not the studio because the Tron 3000 broke or whatever happened, but I'm happy to be back on the show. You know, it's widely considered that I am the single greatest guest of your program.
Yes, 125 episodes in, true.
And
you won a Twisty.
Yes, and so, you know, I'm just ready to win again. I heard Mo Koifman wanted to be the guest of the year, and I decided,
2011, yeah.
and I decided I'm not going to allow that to happen. So I appreciate you having me back on.
Absolutely, I love the confidence early on in the game.
Set the tone.
Set the tone, and I think Mo's going to be a little crushed.
Oh, he's going to be so devastated.
He absolutely be devastated.
And more importantly, let me say one thing about the Jason Nation that I know.
Yes.
That I do a lot of stuff. Yeah. A lot. I'm very lucky. I do a lot of real TV, a lot of podcasts. I'm willing to do PR people. I'm willing to do it all, right?
We got 5 PR people?
You know, 17. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you know, if you can pump out good content, things will happen, right? I will tell you that this show's appearance a year and a half ago is still a thing I see in my Twitter stream. I get emails about. You know, there were plenty of people that bought the Thank You Economy, wrote me letters like, got the new book, by the way, first found out about you on Jason's show. So, Chase, you have a little bit of an audience here.
Yeah, and a great audience. Yeah. And I think what they connected with in that episode was you were featured for 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half. We just kept going and going. I don't think anybody ever interviewed you for that long. Usually it's like you're on Conan O'Brien and they're like, okay,
we eat dirt and we're out.
We eat dirt and we're out. Done. Boom. But it's a different thing when you sit down.
I also said get off the bitch train, which has taken on a life of its own.
Absolutely, that is.
I really missed a merchandise opportunity there. I think we could have sold some serious T-shirts.
Somebody made some really nice ones. Let me thank our sponsor, Trada. Trada is a crowdsourced pay-per-click marketplace making online advertising easy for startups and entrepreneurs. Trada has more than 1,000 paid search experts who create the keywords and ad copy for advertisers using Trada. You know about this because you've bought SEM before, and it's a great company I met when I was in Boulder. And if you're a paid search expert and you want to use your skills on the, you know, on the DL, the down low, you can go visit the Trada website and work there, maybe even moonlight. Use the promotional code TWIST and get a $500 rebate if you spend 3 months in the Trada marketplace and meet their minimum monthly budget requirements, whatever that is. But thank you to @Trada, and everybody say thank you to @Trada on Twitter for making independent media like this possible. So it's been a year. The first book did tremendous. New York Times bestseller.
Yep. I just found out this also is a New York Times bestseller.
Wow. When did this come out?
This came out 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
And it's going to be #2 on the New York Times bestseller list. I'm going to kill that bitch, Susie Orman.
Wow.
But, you know, that's how that is, you know.
She saves people money.
Oprah just pumped the shit out of her. So, you know, I get Jason, she gets Oprah. So you only have so much of a shot.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. So what's the basic premise? I mean, you don't write these things lightly. I know you have like an 18,000 book deal with somebody.
You know, this is a good chance to break the news because I know enough people will watch this. This is done with Harper Business.
Right.
My last book deal, my 10-book deal was signed with Harper Studio. That dissolved when the guy who created it left. So this was a separate book deal. I actually have no more books that I have to write. I wrote this 18 months after Crush It. I don't expect to write another book for a while. Mainly because I think you have to, you know, I don't want to just pump them out for the sake of pumping them out.
Right.
Now listen, tomorrow I might wake up and, you know, maybe I'll come up with some amazing idea tonight and want to. But I kind of feel like I need a little bit of a break. This book feels really good to me. I feel like I've matured dramatically since I wrote Crush It. I started a company with my brother AJ called Vaynermedia.
Right.
So we've done a lot of consulting in corporate America for, you know, PepsiCo and Green Mountain Coffee and Campbell's and the NHL, big companies. I understand the entrepreneur thing. I understand the small business thing. But I've learned a lot about corporate. This talks about what is really the ROI of giving a crap. Like, is the world really changing? Like, it is my firm belief that the world is changing. It is my firm belief that if you have to care about the end user in a world that we all know we live in, which is based on word of mouth and social equity. And so I dig into this pretty deeply, and it's really funny. I actually came up with the title of this book, giving an interview about Crush It. Crush It, hey Wanda, Crush It was doing extremely well. Everybody was stunned it did well. You know, all the other social media books in 2008 did not do well.
Right.
Mine sold extremely well, mainly because you bought a crap load of copies, so I appreciate that.
Yes, I always do that for my friends.
And I, in one interview said, they were pushing. They were kind of, it was like a Washington Post, you okay? Yeah. Tyler's okay. they were like pushing. They're like, come on, why did your book sell? And I was trying to figure out. And after the interview, they told me they thought I bought all my copies.
Right.
They dug into it. They tried to like expose me. I didn't know what was going on. They were pushing. They're like, why'd your book do so well? And finally I said, well, the thank you economy. And it stuck. I think that I paid forward so much for my community. At the time, 800 episodes of Wine Library TV. You know how much replying I do on Twitter, answering my email, give, that when I came and I asked for something and it was only $20,
it was an easy ask.
It was an easy ask. I almost call this book guilt marketing.
Right. It's sort of like Evernote, where people feel so good about the product. The CEO told us on the show, they just pay, and the number one reason they give is because they want to support the product.
It's like how I feel about you. I walked in here and just gave you $100.
Absolutely. We'll spend it later. So the concept that social media is changing everything, let's unpack that a little bit.
The word social media is broken, right? Because the word media is screwing with everybody's head. Everybody thinks that's push, right? Media's been the same way for 100 years. Print, radio, push.
Right.
Television, push.
Right.
Banner ads, push. Billboards, push. Email services, push. Push, 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 push.
Right.
We are in the business of creating content, and we push the living crap out of it.
Right.
We are now living through the first place where it's pull. It's the difference between what we're doing right now, which is creating and pushing content, compared to that skill set of working the room. After we're done, I'm going to go over there and hang out with these awesome people that decided to come and hang. And the skill set to work the room and meet people and shake their hands is the skill set that I think businesses need. Whether you're Ford or Apple or Pepsi, social context is going to matter. Everybody in our world says content is king. In my opinion, if content is king, context is God. Right. And the word context is about to explode in mattering to this room, to the viewers, to this universe.
And so it's why you build the product. It's how you behave with your customers. Even if you have millions of customers like Apple, you see Steve Jobs writing these 1 a.m. emails, and the guy's obviously busy. But he can't help himself. And he was a recluse. He would never respond publicly. And then something happened in the last 2 or 3 years where even Steve Jobs would write to people the blunt, honest, I don't know if you saw that email where he said, what have you contributed to the world? Why are you being so nasty and criticizing my products? And it was like, wow, Steve Jobs is actually engaging customers.
I think first and foremost, especially people in our space, and we all know so much. I mean, anybody that's even watching this show is so far ahead. I'd love for them to wrap their head around that. The fact you're watching this show means that you clearly do know where the world's going at some level in a way that so many other people don't. I do believe our space is ridiculously cynical. I'm shocked how cynical our society is in general. As a guy who's got good guy DNA and has an amazing mother and raised him well, I'm shocked how many people just don't believe you can be good. By the way, I'm not good because I'm such a great guy. I'm good because I firmly believe that that's how you're going to have to do business. I'm here to sell stuff. I'm here to make business happen. I want to buy the New York Jets. I'm not Mother Teresa. I have no interest in rock climbing and drinking tea and all kumbaya-ing. I want to build businesses. I think being good is going to be a substantial backbone of that.
Was that drinking tea and going rock climbing a dig at Kevin?
Absolutely not. Kevin's one of my best friends.
Of course. And
it's a dig at San Francisco in general, and I don't really mean it. I love SF, but there is this thing that I just want to make sure. Listen, I'm a little bit disgusted with myself, Jace. I talk a lot about huggy feeling. Like it shocks me that I am this person at 35, because I'm the kid that ripped up flowers, rang the doorbell, and sold it back. I'm raw, right?
But now you're realizing being the nice guy and the thank you is what's going to get you to the next level?
Well, here's the thing, right? I grew up in a family business. We lived on the thank you economy. I lived to deliver a case of wine to somebody if they had a bad experience or took care of them. But what happened, it's like this. If somebody tripped in your parking lot as you went out to your beautifully colored mobile tonight, and a lady trips and you help her up, and we all left, right? How many people in the world know that you're a good guy? 2. You and her, right? If somebody trips at the Macy's Day Parade and you save her and you pick her up before Snoopy crushes her ass, you're a national hero, right? In my opinion, what's happened to business because of the transparency and the ecosystem of the Twitters and the Facebooks and now the Tumblrs and Quoras and on and on and on of the world, so much of what we do in business is played out in public, and the return on investment of being a good guy and a good company has dramatically more value. It's just the way it is. Now, listen, and let me say it here right now because I know where you're going. everything I write about in this book and everything I believe in the way I'm executing my businesses, whether it's VaynerMedia or Wine Library or my personal brand, is going to get ruined in 5 years.
Why?
Because it's going to be like email. Do you remember the first time you got email?
Yeah, it was important. It was.
You were pumped. You were like, holy shit, I'm not paying for a stamp fee on this. This is incredible. No phone call fee. You couldn't. You got mail and you would like start dancing like Santa came over, right?
Right. You got mail.
Now, what do you guys feel about email? You hate it.
Right. So when you say people are going to be so nice, they're going to be so good to their customers, even the airlines are going to treat us with respect and love and tenderness.
I don't know
that it's going to be commoditized.
Here's my concern, that companies are going to do it as a tactic, right? It comes natural to me to engage, right? You know, the reason I did well on Twitter is I was interested in surmise more than I was interested in Twitter, right? I searched and I gave feedback. I always think a business is best when it's a service above what they're actually doing, right? My concern is that as companies figure out what I'm talking about here and realize people really do win when they start engaging and caring and answering and not putting their head in the sand, right? And creating context, I think it's going to become a commodity. I think it's going to become free shipping. In 1998, when I did free shipping at winelibrary.com, it was one of the big, listen to this, we were a $4 million business at the time. We're a $60 million business now. It was the biggest day of business we've ever had, still to this day. Okay?
Free shipping.
Free shipping. It was the first time I ever did it, 98. People were buying wine that day like it had the cure inside. They were going nuts. One guy bought 20 cases, left a note and said, I'm buying this wine for my daughter's wedding. I called him, living in the thank you economy back then, not realizing it, right? I called him to thank him. I said, hey, Jim, thanks so much. I mean, it's incredible. You know, when's your daughter's wedding? Maybe we can send some champagne or something. He goes, oh, no, Gary. My daughter is 12. I said, what? He goes, yeah, she's 12, but this is such a sick deal that I'm going to put this in a cellar, and it's amazing. Now, everybody who's watching this is so entitled, so primed out, right, that they won't even buy anything unless they have free shipping. And so what I'm saying is that we don't realize how quickly we become cultured to good stuff. As companies start getting nice to us, wait till you think you want to know where I really think this goes?
Yes, I do.
I think you, Jason, wakes up in 4 years, tweets out, I'm taking a run. Because now you're a little bit older and you want to lose 15 pounds, okay?
I do.
Okay?
Sure.
So now you're like, I'm taking a run. I believe that the next day, at your home, is 6 different pairs of sneakers, 4 headbands and a wristband, and maybe an iPad, well, not Apple, they'll never go there. But here's the bottom line. You will have stuff. Every person sitting here and every person watching this right now, in 12 years, will be sick of free ship being sent to them. Mark it down.
I actually am a little sick of that right now. I have to be honest.
Well, you're a superstar.
No, but it is anybody.
And you
who
rock pink shirts. Can we zoom in on the pink shirt? I mean, the pink shirt is just tremendous. I think it needs a little respect. It needs a little respect.
I agree. And by the way, I got the Tesla is colored after your book cover.
Why do you think I did it that color?
It is happening already, though. Brands have figured out with some of these tools. What's the one, Tyler, that does your score? Cloud, like this Cloud score.
Yeah.
They seem to have figured out who the influencers are with this Cloud score, and I thought it was a really dumb idea when I first heard it.
Yep.
And now I think it's brilliant.
Well, it's brilliant because now understanding corporate, they don't want to really do the homework.
No.
It's so much more fun to look at Cloud and be like, oh great, an 84, send them some shit.
Exactly. And so now I'm a 73 or a 76 or something, and they keep sending stuff. And it's movie tickets, and it's this. And then Ford's agency is calling me every day to try to get me to take a survey. I don't want to take a survey.
Right.
So you're right. It's already going to. That's the future. It's going to get annoying. These brands are going to want to do too much.
And here's why. And here's why I want everybody to understand. I'm not here to rah-rah it, and this is why it's going to happen. Here's why I think it's going to happen. I don't think people understand how much a brand is willing to spend to get to you. Guys, they're willing to spend an ungodly amount of money to get to you. Now, where are they spending it? They're spending it through platforms that keep a big chunk of the change, right? Now, these traditional platforms...
Not very efficient.
Not efficient. Nielsen's CEO, in this book I write about, the Nielsen CEO came out and said, well, our numbers are probably about 8% off. If the CEO of Nielsen's is willing to come out and say it's 8% off, first of all, what's the real number?
25%.
Right?
Yeah.
Second of all, holy crap, imagine in our world coming out, imagine us coming out and saying, well, we're billing you 8% off, or our traffic is 8% off, or this, I mean, it's
ridiculous.
ludicrous.
And it's on billions of dollars.
And here's the other thing. It's 2011. Like billboards, really? Do I really need to be paying $19.95 prices for billboards? You're telling me that the people in this room, people watching, are actually looking at billboards? I don't know about you, Jason. I'm scared shitless to drive. Look at your fellow drivers. Yeah. They're not looking at billboards. They're not looking at the fucking road.
Yeah,
they're texting.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I need to be paying $19.94, and really, I need to be paying $19.98 TV commercial price. How many people in this little crowd here DVR shows? Raise your hand. And how many of
100%.
And how many of you fast forward the commercials?
How many people don't fast forward the commercials?
Nice. Supports
Mo,
it.
yeah,
Mo,
Mo,
of
the
course,
sales guy.
because Mo's worried about the advertisers.
Actually, technically, Jason, that is not a great idea. You know, we have a lot of sponsors who are very important to this show. If there's a way.
I mean, seriously though, look at that. You saw it, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure people at home, hopefully you raised your hand, it's fun. I mean, why are we paying prices in a reality that is no more? And so what companies are starting to do finally,
Why?
Because it's all circle jerk.
Is it inertia?
No, it's a circle jerk. People want to make it easy. Brand managers of these big companies want to just buy TV because they want to sit at home and see the commercial that they paid for and be like, yeah, I made a commercial. They want to see their billboard. Do you know that they put billboards by executives' homes? Do you know billboard companies run billboards by executives' homes so the CEO and the COO, when they drive on the way to work, be like, there's my billboard, my good. I mean,
really?
It's such a...
Tyler, can you get on
Tyler,
that?
get on
billboard.
That.
Billboard in Brentwood.
Did you hear what Groupon did with Living Social?
Groupon did with Living Social.
They put billboards near them?
The building across the street
has a billboard.
6 stories tall, right across their...
That's the FU billboard.
By the way, the whole Groupon Living Social battle is so fun. They need to go into a steel cage, raw. I love it. But
awesome.
Jason, here's the bottom line. It's all a system, right? I mean, it's a system that makes sense. It's the way they've always done it. It's easy. Here's what you do if
paradigm is shifting.
If you want to be a CMO at a major CPG company, you play it safe because you run
packaged goods.
Correct. You run a commercial, right? If it does well, you're a champion. If it doesn't, you spend the next year analyzing why it didn't do well. I mean, it's really quite ludicrous. It's super non-entrepreneurial, and it's living in a time that doesn't exist anymore. So what's going to happen is younger blood is coming in, disruption is happening, people are getting put out of business, see a Blockbuster, see a Borders, it's going to continue, and what's going to happen is people are going to start looking at their business, and they're going to say, wait a minute, if we want to get to the end user, and we're paying on average $287, and the data's not right, why don't we just give the $287 to Jason, because he just said that he's a runner, fuck it, let's give him 3 pairs of sneakers.
And then maybe he'll buy the 4th, the 5th, and 6th.
And you're creating context, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I hope people don't misunderstood. This is just on product giveaway, right? Let me give you an example. The Thank You Economy at Wine Library. We had a customer who just dropped 20 G's on wine, very short, and from Chicago. I told Kristen at Wine Library, I want you to know who this person is. We found him on Twitter. We put him into our CRM system. We started following him. We noticed that he started tweeting about Jay Cutler consistently. I love you, Jay Cutler. Don't be mad at Jay Cutler. If Jay Cutler really didn't get hurt, we would have won. We would have been in the Super Bowl. Marry me, Jay Cutler. This guy loves Jay Cutler. I call Kristen. I'm like, Kristen, I want you to go to eBay. I want you to buy a Jay Cutler jersey. And I want you to send him a note saying, thank you for becoming a Wine Library customer. That was huge for him. He told us that he's not shopping with any other wine shop because we hit his emotional center. We didn't give him free shipping to Wine Library. We didn't give him a wine rack or free glasses in the context of our world. We went all the way left field and we touched the emotional center. If a company sends something nice to for your children, for your daughter, right?
Oh yeah.
That hits you in a dip. They got you.
They got me.
If
you know who did that?
something-
Skip Hop did that.
And that's it.
They sent me 2 boxes, every single product, and they sent 2 of each. I came home to my wife.
Yep.
I'm the greatest guy ever.
Yeah.
The Skip Hop diaper. You have the Skip Hop stuff?
My wife is in full control. She's the CEO of Misha.
How old is your daughter?
21 months.
15 months.
Yeah, I mean,
how has that changed your life as an entrepreneur? We could have that discussion too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest shift in my life. I mean, you know, family is what you live for. I mean, it's interesting. You know, I'm going to go politically incorrect on you because that's, you know, I'm an unfiltered kind of character.
I understand.
The first 9 months, I was like, oh man, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a bad guy. Like, why am I not like changing my life? As soon as she started interacting, things changed. I think, I don't know if that's a dude thing. I've heard that.
Yeah.
You know, once she started saying, like, when she rolled into my room a couple of months ago, after we hung out all day Sunday, which is how my life's changed, right? The reason I don't answer every email anymore is because I used to sit on my ass on a Sunday, on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and answer 900 emails and be proud of myself that I caught up, spend a little time with Lizzie because she could stay up later and we go. Now I spend that time with Misha. We spent a whole hardcore Sunday together. It was a ton of fun. Lizzie went out and did some stuff. The next morning I'm getting ready for work. She runs into my room. She looks me dead in the face, and she's talking early, very early, which I'm not sure where she's getting that from, but I have an idea.
Yeah.
She looks at me and she goes, Daddy, I'm back. And that was it.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I was like,
I'm back.
And I was like the way she delivered it, and I'm like, wow, now I understand why I'm not going to work as hard, do as many things. I need to be around this kind of stuff. So it's a love that is difficult to understand.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
Well put, well put. Let's go.
Let me say a couple more things about TYE, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Because I'm very concerned. You have a very educated viewership.
Absolutely.
And I want them to understand what I'm obsessed with is I truly believe that context matters so darn much. I think it matters. I think it matters when you know your community, right? I think it matters when you care about them. Like, I look at this small crowd, and I've talked to some of them today on Twitter, or yesterday. It matters. I know who they are. I hate this concept of we become less of, you hear this from all the old school peeps, like, oh, society's so screwed up now. You don't communicate with each other. You're out of your mind. You're not using the product. I'm communicating more than ever. I have context on much of this crowd that I never could have without the Twitters and the Facebooks and Tumblrs of the world, right? And so I'm blown away by people's lack of understanding that if somebody says your product's awesome and you wink at them, that acknowledgement means something. Think about this. Think about when somebody's giving you a head nod. What's a head nod? It's such a half-ass thing, right? Like, a head nod is not like some I'm not talking about fucking hugging. I'm talking about a head nod. I'm talking about you're walking in the office, you're kind of like a czar in this establishment. I'm sure that, if these guys are working their ass off, 19 hours, and you walk by and you give them a little head nod, fuck, that's huge. They're pumped. Jason fucking acknowledged me. A head nod. A head nod. It matters. A wink, an LOL, a thank you. These things that you're doing in the trenches matter. The radio business has $1 billion business based on drive time radio. That mom is driving to the supermarket, and if you run a Tide or a Dove commercial during drive time, when she goes into the supermarket, she's going to buy your product, right? That's the thesis.
That's the concept.
That's the concept. And I believe in impressions. I mean, I do believe in that. I believe in branding. Here's my thing, though. So what happens when you actually do something nice in the trenches? For example, Harrah's Casino Group, client of ours. During CES, we monitored every conversation for 24 hours. I hired West Coast, sent out some of my guys. People stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning at Vayner. It's hardcore, like in here. It's dungeon style, right? We're entrepreneurs.
No doubt.
So,
Boiler room.
Somebody tweets out during CES, does anybody know where I can see the Junior Olympic hockey game? One of my guys sees it, calls Caesars Casino Sportsbook, says, do you have this? They said, yes. They said, can you reserve a table for this guy? Yes. They tweeted him. He goes, he has a good time. The next morning, we see this tweet from this customer. Checking out of the win, checking into Caesars. That is ROI.
Awesome.
And so I'm just stunned at people. And by the way, we are going to be living through the great bubble of social media over the next 3 years. People are going to lose their shirts. It's going to be a bubble. And people are going to be down on social media in the next 36 months because there's a lot of hype. There's clowns like me running around screaming this is the best shit ever.
So it's gonna go through a bubble, pop.
It's going to be a 99 to 2001 thing. The internet was hot as shit, right? Then 99 to 2001, the stock market collapsed.
Right.
Because there was a lot of things done wrong. 95% of the stuff that I see on social today is done wrong because it's push. It has no emotion. It has no good intent. And everybody's treating it like it's a traditional media platform, which it's not. Everybody's trying to give a presentation during a cocktail party, okay? So everybody's struggling with it. People are going to struggle. They're going to spend a lot of money, and nothing good's going to happen. And this reminds me so much of 99 to 2001. And people are going to make decisions. Here's my favorite. Blockbuster, a bunch of 80-year-old white dudes sat in a boardroom and said, hey, Dick, do you know this Netflix thing? No. Hey, Johnny, you see this thing? No. Paul, no. Anybody even hear of this Netflix thing? No. Fuck it. 8 years later, you're out of business, Blockbuster.
Right.
And so innovation matters. If innovation didn't matter, if social change didn't matter, IBM would be dominating our world, right? Or Microsoft. Microsoft would have never let Google happen. Google would have never let Facebook happen. Facebook would have never let Twitter happen, and on and on and on. And so I'm just very concerned that people think that their demo is not in social. I hate that. Gary, my customers aren't in social. They're older. Everybody's fucking grandma is on Facebook.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, that ship has sailed. Please don't give me bullshit excuses because you don't want to put in the work.
I mean, that is what it is about, right? I mean, you go to one of these companies and they know they're supposed to be doing it, but they're just like, I am
No, they say,
scared to
what's the
death of my company."
ROI? What's the ROI? What's the ROI?
Oh, they want to quantify
And
it.
I always say, well, what the fuck is the ROI of your mother? Like, I don't know what I don't have data to show you the ROI of Tamara Vaynerchuk, but I can sit firmly here and tell you that it's everything. It's the whole fucking game. Because without the way my mom raised me, I'd be a clown. And so I don't understand how people don't understand the emotional impact of business. It's not just black and white. Plus, by the way, your black and white data sucks. It's horseshit. Arbitron, the major fucking radio company, in the bottom of their website says the data from Arbitron is the opinion of Arbitron.
It's not even data.
It's not even fucking data. Do you know that Nielsen sends little questionnaires to people that have the box and asks them to fill out the shows they watched?
Right.
You guys know that?
Right.
I mean, they're lying. They're making it up. Yeah, I think I watched Oprah.
I watched PBS. I was watching
stupid.
Nova and then Meet the Press and
It's
some
such
other
horseshit.
educational
The whole
program.
thing is really interesting. It's a whole circle jerk.
Right.
And it's going to collapse. Disruption's coming. And the companies that outcare and actually, when did not caring about your end user become not a real job or something that didn't have ROI?
Yeah.
It's all going small town rules, Jason. Your grandparents, our collective grandparents, are much more positioned to be successful in 2015 than we are because we're entitled, we're soft, we want everything to be scalable. Everybody in our world that's super smart wants everything to be scalable and scripts and data and all this.
Yeah.
Everybody in traditional, right? They just want, they want it to be the way they want it, and old school, and I think it's something very much in the middle. It needs to be about human interaction, and you can scale caring with social.
And it's interesting you mentioned scaling because GoToWebinar set up webinars with that. That's a pretty good segue, wasn't it?
That's amazing. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah. So thank you to GoToWebinar for letting us set up webinars. It's so awkward to do a commercial in the middle of the social thing. But I actually used GoToWebinar to have 70 people on the phone for the launch conference for all the exhibitors. I said, everybody get on the phone, all the companies, and we'll do a Q&A session. It worked brilliantly. And this is actually, I think, the future of media. I get to pick who's the sponsor of the show. And I only pick the products that I actually use.
Sure.
Like GoToWebinar. 30 days free, use the promotion code TWIST. It's like 3 easy steps. It works. It's like GoToMeeting, but you can use like 1,000 people on it. And I really do appreciate them. I always say thank you to them. You guys say thank you too on Twitter. Just say thank you at GoToWebinar for sponsoring This Week in Startups. And that little thank you, let me tell you something. I started doing that on This Week in Tech, I don't know, 2 years ago with Leo, and I said, hey, everybody who's listening, go thank GoDaddy and go thank Squarespace and thank these guys. And the sponsors were more interested in the thank yous on Twitter, or equally interested as they were for the ad on the show.
But let's understand why people who are watching this right now would go and do that. You've clearly given them enough that they feel like they want to. You paid forward. You didn't come out of left field. You put out a lot of content that doesn't cost them anything, right? You've been in the scene a long time. So it's not only skill set, but it's actually engagement in the audience. And everybody's got different levels. Listen, Jason, you know this better than anybody because you were around the first day I started. The first day I did Wine Library TV when I had zero brand equity in tech.
Right.
You were there. So you watched what happened with me.
Sure.
There's a million people that have come and gone. The reason I've been relevant is because I've just given as much as possible. This is a case study of my life.
And you haven't stopped. I mean, I think that's something that people forget. You have done it consistently for years now. I mean, how many of these episodes have you done now?
So I retired from Wine Library TV at South by during my keynote. I stopped at episode 1000.
Right.
Because I wanted to continue to innovate. I launched something called Daily Grape.
This is the new iPhone
This is the new iPhone app. And it's still on the site too, and the Android's coming. But I feel like I was meeting with a lot of startups. I do a lot of angel investing. We've invested in some things together. And I keep yelling at them, right? They come in and they're like, okay, Gary, here's what we are. We're like Quora meets Instagram with a little Gowalla and a shade of Path. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like they always, and they're like, and we're gonna be on TechCrunch, and we're gonna be, and Mashable's gonna write about us, and Chris Sacca and McClure are investing in us. And I was like, what does any of this mean?
Social proof.
You know what I mean? I was
Social
like,
proof.
what problem are you solving, and do you give a fuck about your customer? Then all of a sudden I kept saying, what problem are you solving? One day I'm driving and I'm taping Wine Library TV, and I'm like, what problem am I solving with this? I'm like, entertainment has value. I get it. But there's a lot of content out there. So what I realize is wine scares people, right? People watch my show because nobody knows anything about wine. It's hard. It's difficult. There's a lot. Everybody in wine's a douchebag. And so I decided that
There are a lot of bags in there.
there's a lot of bags. So now when you watch a show mobily or on the site, you can add a wine to your wish list. It goes into the app, right? And now people are walking around with their wish list. So you're watching the show. You're like, oh, that sounds good. You hit one button. It's on your phone, and now, you know, you go on a date, you want to act cool, you know, you want to know something, or if you're just shopping and you're into wine, I've just made my content useful. I think useful entertainment is a very interesting evolution to where things are going. You know, you made a very nice compliment to me because I know you've been pivoting heavily into video. You said, I got to give you credit, you were on the video thing early.
Very early.
I think that I'm evolving into something that's going to really matter. It's useful content.
It's actually getting into the flow of their daily lives, solving some problem.
Mobile's the game, right? I mean, mobile's the game. So that's that. I used Cabana, which I know did presented at launch.
And they won Best Design. Amazing product.
So I'm happy with that. It's interesting, a lot of people have been stunned what a non-native app can look like with Cabana, so that's been a fun study. But most of all, it's shorter. You know, my show was like 35 minutes, and I know I'm fun and all, but you know, it's a lot of commitment.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. So now it's 7, 5, 6.
All right, snackable.
You know, while you're in the car texting instead of watching the show, you know, the road, instead of looking at a fucking billboard, you can watch Daily Grape. And you know, and it's just much more useful. I mean, I'm only 6 episodes in. Yesterday I get an email from a guy. Watched a Riesling episode, added to the wish list, went to a restaurant, me and my girlfriend, said, do you have this? The guy said, not exactly that, but close, and we loved it because it tasted like you described. That's me scratching my happy itch of like, okay, good, I'm executing on the thesis.
If I enjoy dessert wine and port more than I enjoy regular wine, does that make me like girly? That I like the sweet wines? Does that make me like less of a man? Like
no, listen, I mean, listen.
What's like a man's wine to drink? Because I like the dessert wine.
I'm a huge fan of dessert wine.
I love the ports. I love that stuff.
No, listen, clearly you're not worried about that. Look at the shirt you're wearing, right?
That's true.
I mean,
it is
so
pink.
I rock pink all the time. So you're not worried about being girly.
No.
You know who you are.
Yeah,
you're Brooklyn.
But I love that.
You're Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
By the way, can we talk about the Knicks? I'm fucking pissed.
What? You don't like the trade?
No, I love the trade, but I'd like to make the playoffs. I mean, we're starting to get to the danger zone.
It'll be
I know.
Fine.
We need a big man. We need Tyson Chandler next year.
It's not going to be a problem. This is what happens. If we didn't make the trade, we'd be 1 or 2 games
No,
above
I agree.
500.
I agree. It was
Now
a
we
great
made the
trade.
We're 1 or 2 games below 500.
Me, you,
Give
and
it
Fred
time.
Wilson got into a big Twitter discussion that night. I think we were on the same page. I like the trade.
We gave
But
away a lot.
here's the thing. You should drink Banyul. You should go try a Banyul.
Banyul.
B-A-N-Y-U-L-S.
Y-U-L-S.
It is a late harvest Grenache. It is, in my opinion, better than port, though I love Portugal. It's a fourth of the price.
A fourth of the price?
I know you like that.
Well, duh.
And it's just tremendous wine. And it's nerdy, geeky, and I highly recommend Banyul for you.
All right, there you have it. You guys have any questions there in the audience? I see everybody's listening to Gary.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be
Anybody
scared.
from Mahalo staff can have a question. It's allowed too.
Tyler, do something.
Tyler? Oh, Joyce.
Oh, Joyce.
Go ahead,
Hi,
Joyce.
Joyce.
If it's the thank you economy, why not give the book away free?
Ah.
It's a very good question. So the question is, Jesus Christ, Joyce. So the question is, if it's the thank you economy, why not give away the book for free? The thank you economy isn't called the free economy, you know, so that's the first reason. And by the way, and I said it early on in this, and it's super important for me to context this, I'm a businessman, right? Like, I'm excited that I put out real hardcore, you know, I like that I'm a businessman that built, like Tony Hsieh, Jason Fried. I like to buy these books or support them because they've gone out and actually built businesses. And I have nothing against Malcolm Gladwell and other people like that, but I really do enjoy the thought of like buying business books from people that have gone in and executed in the trenches instead of people that have taught at universities, right? I mean, I think that's interesting. For me, I'm a businessman. I feel like it's a super value for 13 or 14 bucks for what I'm doing in there. And the thank you economy, the word thank you represents, I almost call this manners marketing. It just talks about a tact of how to handle yourself in a transparent, word of mouth, cocktail party business world. It doesn't talk about, wasn't there a book like that free? Didn't somebody do that? Chris Anderson, right?
Chris Anderson did
yeah,
free,
I mean, this isn't about free content at all. This has nothing to do with that. That would be a big reason why I wouldn't give it away for free. It just talks about, holy crap, you kind of got to become better, and you've got to, more importantly than be nice, it's create context. I think I'm just obsessed with that word. I'm fascinated by watching it. You know, the fact that I can look through the crowd and see Wanda because we engage on Twitter, and I don't really know, you know, I don't, by old school standards, I don't really know her, but I can tell you right now, the way I feel about her by seeing her through the crowd is definitely different than somebody I've never met before, and it's been based on the social engagement we've had on these platforms. Tonight, we're going to hang a little bit longer. I got a ton of stuff in the morning. I'm going to go back to my hotel room, hopefully pretty quickly. I'm going to lay in my bed. I'm going to continue to engage with my community because I think that scales for me, and more importantly, me and Lady Gaga and the Biebs, we don't scale. We're people, right? Companies do. Nike and Campbell's and Ford have no excuse. They can hire their asses off to find people that will go in there and vet, tell their story, their brand story, and actually give a crap, answer questions.
What job title is the problem that there's no job title at these big companies for them?
No.
Like, oh, you don't make it. You're
No,
not
the
the
problem is
salesperson?
there's no Nielsen's report saying that a Facebook follower is worth $1.47.
Right.
Thank you, Tyler. I mean, you know, say it again. I mean, I think, you know,
Hallelujah.
It's
Amen.
coming. By the way, it's coming. And Cloud has started the process. Nielsen's will buy Clout. There'll be Clout Nielsen's, and everybody's gonna in corporate America is gonna be like, okay, great. Now we
What
have
does that
the
mean for the
green
people
light.
with the low cloud score, though? They
What's
get
that?
nothing. The people with the low cloud
Well,
score.
that's the funny part. I actually think that's where the action is.
Ah.
Because if you're Jason, you're used to getting tons of free shit.
Yeah, it don't mean anything to me.
Right? Pammy Thompson in Arkansas, if she gets some free Doritos, she's shitting her pants.
That's true. Everybody's business plan has mommy bloggers.
No,
Reaching out to
that's
the
all.
mommy
I'm
bloggers.
going to get to mommy bloggers.
All right, that'll be an
blog-
hour too.
Yeah, well, let's do that for next year.
Next year.
That's a whole racket.
Those mommy bloggers, they're shaking people down.
If you're a mommy blogger, you better start policing the other mommy bloggers because the
They're
brand
shaking
of
people down.
The mommy blogger thing is like, you're right. It's like fucking Tony Soprano out there.
They're going to get their free shit in one way or the other.
But
You're
it's
gonna,
diluted the whole thing. I mean, the whole
know.
thing. I'm talking to these brands. They're so going off of that because they're taking everything, they're hoarding everything, and more importantly, mommy bloggers, when you take shit, you better be transparent when you're writing about it because your community's going to find out, you're going to get exposed, and you're not going to have a community.
What do you think this company My Likes? Did you see that the other day that came out? Where
No.
You do a tweet and it's an ad. It's sort of like what's the company here in
Adley,
There's
the
a company
Charlie
Adley.
Sheen thing.
Yeah,
Adley.
they sell
Yeah, I mean, listen,
ads for that. What do you think of that? How does that fit into all this?
I've never, listen, as somebody who has close to 1 million followers, I've had all the offers. It's kind of hard to walk away from like 30 G's for a tweet or 5 G's from a tweet, right? I mean, it's not so easy.
Do it for charity.
You know, charity's a whole nother clutch. I talk about it in this, by the way, and this is something I'm massively passionate about. Oh, look who's calling. Something massively, Kevin, maybe he heard the rock climbing thing. I think that
Hey, Kevin, it's
if
Jason
you tweet out,
How are you doing? Hold on a second. I'm putting you live on the air with Gary. Hold on. Hold on a second, Kevin. Say hello, everybody. Say hello. All right, we can't hear you.
if you tweet out that if I get 100 followers, I'm going to donate $100 to Japan, you're a fuckface. And so can please everybody in the Twitter world, the Jason Nation, you guys are passionate, you guys are loud as shit. Please do me a favor. The next time somebody tweets out, if I get 50 more followers, we'll donate $50 to the Japan relief, or $100 to the New Zealand Earthquake Foundation, or the Red Cross. The next time you see it, please personally email me at gary@vaynermedia.com with the link so I can piss on those people.
I hate that. Yes, just give the fucking
I mean,
$100.
just give the $100, asshole.
Yes, it's so.
I mean,
douchey.
so like, I feel like that all bleeds into the same stuff. Every person in this room, and definitely every person watching right now, their bullshit radars are phenomenal. We know what's going on. We know that you just want 100 more followers. And, we know. We're not that stupid. I'm sickened by B-player marketers thinking they're so smart. It's just tactics. And it's short sight. And it's hooking up instead of marrying. I want my companies to get their customers to put a ring on it, not to just hook up for the night.